Hello everyone, this is a new tutorial. We thought that we have now, it's about 4 months I think, since the last, 45 months since the last update. A little summer update. I'm not gonna go through too much what we have done new, but it's more of like a tutorial. But when there's new system, it's a bit hard to remember what's new and what's old. I did try to check some stuff out. Like we have new, the race engine is a lot improved in my opinion. I would say that we're now maybe 80 to 90% done with it, at least the flat engine. And we also have now like running styles for the horses, so I think that's pretty cool. And they have preferences. So I think that side of the game has improved a lot. Also like the actual like live race, how you can see the positioning of the horses, how you can get like jockey feedback after the race, like you get a much more like information that you will see. So I think it will also help new players, like if they're wondering like why is my horse not performing and stuff like this. Our UI is completely overhauled. It took quite a while. It's not maybe the biggest change, but it's kind of like a polish change where the new UI is much rounder overall. We have tried to go through pages. I still think the main menu could be a bit better. I'm not the biggest fan of it, but we haven't really put that much effort into it since you spend so little time in the menu. I can't remember if last time there was custom data, but I think that's a really cool thing. And if I play the game myself, I usually play with custom data now. That basically means that you have custom schedules, like real life schedules. We have a really awesome community in Discord where they have like mapped out all the races in the real world. There's I think 2,500 now, and real world tracks like 500 probably. And so it brings a lot of realism. Obviously we can't do that because of licensing issues, but we have made it really easy for you to actually import them. You just need to download 2 files from the community, put them in a folder, and then you can just toggle a button basically. I can show you quickly also how that's done. In the menu I can stream putting the file stuff, but we have like very detailed instructions in the game and also on our Discord servers. And yeah, the game should be also a bit faster now. I like to sim. We have tried to made it more efficient. If I do like a normal world, I would say like a daily speed now is about 200 to 300 milliseconds, and that's pretty decent at this stage, I think. And yeah, we also have some new art, like in the auctions and the person avatars that I can show. But let's start a new game like before, and let's just generate person. Let's go with Stanislav Hudak. Maybe go from the US that is a bit more known, and we can choose the homeless. I'm gonna again start with like a stable view and or own stable basically, because it unlocks more of the game earlier so that I can show you guys more stuff. I still think it's more fun to start as an actual like homeless person in the game, where you have to start as either a jockey or a manager. Oh, I don't know by the way if that was the last time the jockey mode, but that's now also in the game. And actually today we released some updates to that. The version I'm playing by the way is 0.9.7.6, just from summer vacation today. But yeah, nothing basically has changed on this screen. So you still have like all the skills. They all affect stuff in the game. And yeah, you can roll the skills if you want. Traits are the same. They're visually a bit better placed and overall fit the round team, but nothing has changed here. You can read the tooltips for like more information on what the actual skills do. But this is pretty big. I think they look really cool. These new avatars basically, and they bring a lot of like personality to the game. I think like you can do pretty cool stuff, and I really like there's even small like accessories. Like I think this is my favorite, the cigarette. But yeah, let's pick this guy. And we're also actually We're gonna bring more. We have already ordered more artwork. The artist who's working on this is actually our artist wife. She's also an artist, so it's a pretty cool loop. But yeah, we have already ordered some new or more artwork because we really liked it. Yeah, today I'm also gonna do flat racing. The harness racing should work a bit better, from what I have heard. I haven't tested it that much myself, but I know the flat race should work pretty well currently. Now this is one addition, like I talked before, the real world schedule. So, well, you can also look at the instructions here, but I already have the files there, so I can quickly just show you how it looks. But you basically add the files in a folder, and then you can select what countries, say the US, and it shows then like Churchill Downs, Del Mare, like the real world racetrack, their distances, stuff like this. And, you know, races, obviously Kentucky Derby and stuff like this. So they really like modeled the whole world basically. So I'm really grateful for that, but it's really cool actually to play with this. I think it brings a lot to the game, because I know people still, and I also sometimes play with the randomly generated ones, but it's just something about like real world roundness where it makes it a lot cooler. So the world selection is still the same. You can select the world size. We almost start to recommend normal plus because there is kind of like a scale issue, and let's actually not do the custom schedule, but there is kind of like a scale issue with normal. So the problem is kind of like that basically in normal there's two little horses in each age group and each distance. So like it becomes like a mathematical problem, kind of like an impossibility to have the races filled, and that's why we're probably gonna start recommending normal plus. But for your first playthrough it doesn't matter that much, and you can change it while in game also. So if you feel that the normal is too limiting, you can bump the horse amount up a bit and change like the culling values. But the normal is nice because it's pretty quick to play, so you kind of progress pretty quickly. The gameplay options, I don't think there's anything new here. It's the same with the breeds. They don't really do that much. It's more of like a flavorful thing. But yeah, I don't think there's that much new in this system. I will go through some stuff like the rating system more in depth later in this video also. But yeah, let's pick the normal world for now. And then you can also here select the road to owner or own stable. If it's your first playthrough, it's kind of like 50-50 what you want to do. I think the road to owner is more fun, but it's a bit more challenging also, because then you have like pressure from the owner that you need to perform, and then you can get fired and stuff like this. So like it's a bit easier to start with the own stable, but it's also, you get kind of more stuff thrown at you immediately. So if you start the road to owner, maybe jockey mode, that's maybe the easiest path. Then you just start with the jockeying, but you know, people have different preferences, so it kind of also depends on how you want to play the game. But yeah, let's just pick a location. Let's go to the US. Actually it doesn't matter because we didn't choose the custom schedule, but let's pick it and just bump the money. I'll again keep the horses at 0 because I don't really want to have like random horses. There's a big change in automation options. Before you used to have here like, oh, how do you want to like automate stuff? Now you just have the player specific, and the stable specifics are in the game in the sidebar, and it's basically a change where you can choose, like, because you can have multiple stables in the game, so you might want to automate one stable in one way and another stable, maybe a breeding barn, in another way. So we split them up, so now you can do like automation options for each stable you own or manage. So let's say if you would have like 5 stables or something like this, you know, you're not gonna manage them all yourself, but you can then choose like what do you want to automate in that stable. But like as you can see, the sim speed is pretty quick. I'm on a pretty good computer, but it's still like pretty fast, like the fastest it has been. So let's see, you still get the welcome messages. I have tutorials turned off, but if you start the game the first time, you're gonna get also tutorials. We're soon gonna bring an improvement also to them, where you can kind of get like an audiovisual also, like a small talking character of it, but yeah. But you're now in the game. You're gonna see like a tab bar and a top bar. Now I'll go through each like element so that we keep some kind of structure in this video. Okay, so this is the top bar, and it kind of like depends on what you're viewing. It can change, and this has changed since the last time. The elements are kind of the same. There's some new elements, but I'll go through each one. So at the top left we have the stable selector. Now if you would have multiple stables, you could choose them here. If you would be maybe a manager for one stable and own your own stable, or maybe a jockey for one stable. Now the next element you have is your cash, and the stable cash, and then a transfer amount or money. And you can also press T to open this, and basically what it does is you can do like quick transfers between you and your stable. So because we don't have any money now, let's do from stable to player like 9 million, and then it moves like that. Like I said, there's some buttons missing here, so if I go to another page, like the home page, I can see a bit more, especially the inbox, but also before a race there's usually more elements on the screen, so it kind of like hides stuff that's not important at that moment. So and kind of like tries to keep where it doesn't overflow the screen. We used to have some of those issues, but if we go to home, you can see usually there's the current date also and where you're located. Then there's the go back, search, and go forward, and all of these also have like hotkeys. So I don't know why more progress like this doesn't do it. I got really annoyed actually. I tried the new Football Manager and they didn't have these hotkeys. I think they have it, but it's not as easy. But here is just basically A and D to go back and forward. And then if you press S, you can search like anything basically. So let's search New York and tab and enter, and then you can go to New York. So it's really like simple as possible. If you press W, so you kind of like play the game with WASD, you can go forward. So you basically use this action. Then it kind of depends on like if you have a next race, next message, like it's kind of using the what we think is the next obvious move. We're kind of guessing your move. So that's kind of how it works. The top bar, there's also notifications that you can check. I don't actually have them on now, but well, you can see kind of we have a lot of options. So because there's like different persons ask like different things, and we try to kind of like if someone has like an annoyance or something, they can choose like to turn it off or turn it on. It kind of depends also on what stage you are in the game. So I have turned off pretty much everything now. I think one save I did where I had like 200 horses or something, and then it becomes really like annoying when you have like 200 race results every day. So we have made it where you can like choose and mold depending on what stage in the game you are to what information you get. Because at some point, like say if you have 200 horses, you're not gonna care about like, oh, what's this low ranked horse, what's the race result necessarily. You can just then, if you care about them, go to its like profile and check them. So we have tried to mold it like this. You can see I got the notification, but it also goes here. And now you can also see the two stables we have. You can actually use a hotkey for this also, so it's G and H to quickly like change stuff, and yeah, you can pretty quickly then move through the game. So let's move on. So game settings, next message, you can change the how you move forward. So you can choose next event. It's gonna choose basically for your stable what's the next event, so like race, auction, foal birth. You can also choose world, and then it's gonna pick like race or auction, or then race, and then it's just gonna go for race events or auction obviously. And you can also choose like next week, then it's always gonna go 1 week forward. There are in the settings some options to stop at like stuff. So even if you would do next week, you can like stop at your race. That's pretty useful. Now also I'll show you when we buy a horse, but I'll quickly just buy a random horse. But then if I auto-registered for some race, I can sim to that race. So now it would sim to the race this horse is registered to. And this is really, I think, useful when you have like a lot of horses, because then you can like, if you want to say follow maybe 5 horses just, then you can just sim to them straight up. Now for the top bar, the last thing is the tab bar. Now you can actually change where this is located, and we changed the default to the top, but it used to be on the bottom, so you can choose it still in interface. You can choose where the tab bar is located, but let's move it to the top. And you can also, if you hover, you can kind of see like how you can use it, but I would say the easiest is just to like, if you middle click something, it's gonna create a tab. You can also use hotkeys to like swap tabs like this. And like where this is kind of useful is like, say if you have a lot of horses that you wanna check out, so maybe say these 3, and then you can kind of go like and check like, oh, but like what's their difference in a way. And especially say I would wanna check all of these out, then it's kind of easy to go like this and look like, oh, this is pretty cool, and maybe not that much. You can middle click then to close them. You can also use B to open them, like if you don't have a middle click. So let's say for this one, like if I press B, it's gonna open it. If I press B 2 times, it's gonna also go to the horse. And the same is with the middle click, like say the market or automation, same thing. So you can do anything like that. Now, so yeah, that's pretty useful. Another small kind of like UI thing is like if you just press the P key, so then you go into peak mode. And in peak mode, if you go over like a row, you can see more of the horse. Now again, this is kind of like useful if you're like quickly want to scout some horses, just go through and check them out like this. It's pretty good for that. And you can use this for horses, for people. You can also use it for let's see, stables. Yeah, so pretty much any kind of like entity you can use it on. And then if you press P, you close it again. For horses also, if you go to past result and press it, then you can see like the kind of information card, like how did it run, the horse. So it's pretty useful hotkey. So one important thing in settings is the localization. So we have a lot of different languages that you can choose from. They are AI generated, but I'm gonna also open it for the community if they wanna, like, if they see something weird that they wanna fix. And we might buy like a professional to go through them, but they're quite expensive because we have like a crazy amount of text. So let's see about that. But yeah, they should work pretty well. You might have to restart the game after you change the language, but otherwise it should work good. Okay, and then let's go through home. Now in the home you can kind of see like the calendar. This is also styled again, and I think this is a lot better now, because now it only shows your events. You can also show all events, but as you can see it's kind of messy, and I think it's clearer, the indications. So let's just auto-register. We should be able to see, yeah, like you can see a birthday is here that was related to us. So it's kind of a lot better, I think. You can also jump to dates a bit easier. You can also jump up and down dates. So overall, I think this is improved a lot. I also think this is a bit easier on the eyes. You can also press stuff to go there. Yeah, overall, I think like this looks a bit cleaner. We still have the notifications from the intern, who's kind of gonna surface the most important stuff. I think this could still need some work, more like important stuff also. I think some stuff is missing from there, but in general, like the idea, I think I kind of like to surface stuff. Now you have the home table, the racers basically, and you can choose who the racers are in pins table. So if you go to stable and pins, if you press one racing, it's gonna become a racer, and then all other horses are not gonna be racers. If you don't have anyone who has the toggle, then everyone is a racer. So you can kind of like divide the horses. The other is breeding and retired. You can turn on and off, and it's gonna move them to like different tables in the stable. But yeah, I think generally those are the main things, and the pins also work in a way where, like, say, if I would have a retired horse, it doesn't show up in races or stuff like this. So you can kind of like clean up the UI and divide the horses how you want. Now the next one is the inbox, and this is also getting like quite a good improvement. You can also, if you have multiple stables, filter like what do you want to actually see, because there was like situations where, say, you would get a spouse and they would have a stable, then that spouse would get more like you would see their emails, but you couldn't like turn them off, but now you can. So like the stable we just created, SX, you can now like see also a kind of like spill shape, like what stable is this about, so it's a bit clearer when you have multiple stables, and the inbox now works with multiple stables also. And as said, you can filter them also out, so then you get like a clean inbox. Now you can use like hotkeys also to delete stuff, so you can use C to delete. You can also use like delete all non-important emails, and then you get kind of like a clean inbox pretty quickly. Those maybe should not be where they need to be responded to, but let's respond to them anyways. And yeah, you get some emails when you start the game, kind of guiding you on how to play the game also. Now the next is the stable, and for stable we were kind of like in this already, but you have like different views. So you have racers, this is kind of like the main racing horses you have. You have the training information, and here you can like change a lot of stuff. So let's buy a couple of more horses just as an example. So you can change stuff. So we only have us as staff now, but let's still put us through a couple. And yeah, so you can kind of easier change, like then going through the horse, going to the options or training and changing it from here. You can just change them for all your horses here. But even if this is nice, we have made it even nicer. So you can also copy and paste stuff, but one is even nicer way is where we have made the tables really kind of responsive. So you can do like range select. You can also do, so if you click a horse and then hold shift and press something, it will range select. You can also control click, so let's say if you these three would change, or then you can do control A, you should be able to do, but I'm not able to do it now for some reason. It might be the streaming, but so let's say you select like a range, then if you right click, then you get like a lot of options, and then you can start doing like bulk options. And this is like really, I would say, the how I usually play the game. And especially when you start getting like more horses, then it's really gonna start adding up basically, because you can do like stuff that would have taken before many minutes, and now you basically have like it done. So it's really something I think that's kind of unique to our game. I don't know how many other games do this, but yeah, there's a lot of stuff. You can also copy selected and paste them even to Excel. So I know some people want to do that. You can also do bulk options if you don't prefer this. I think this is the superior way, but you can also do bulk options. This is basically the same, but it's just like in a different way. In the bulk options, you can also auto balance stuff. So these are pretty quick to do. So it kind of auto balances the stable, hence say, or jockeys. Yeah, this is basically the stable. You can also do, there's like different views, as I said. check them out, like times, financials, shoeing, renaming system. I think this is actually pretty good once you start getting foals, because then you can like quickly rename, like let's do Pepsi maybe, and phone, PlayStation, just stuff around me. Now I can even do like a prefix, so maybe John. Now you can kind of see like what's gonna happen, so it can start mixing words, and you can like do even this, and yeah, so it's quite like extensive system. You can also use the list if you want. You can regenerate like how it's gonna be, and then you can just apply and it's gonna rename them all. So it's really quick to rename horses, and some like this you need to sim like one day, because we do kind of heavy caching to make the game a lot faster to go through. But now you can see they have all changed their name. But you can imagine like if you have say 100 foals, it's gonna help this system a lot, because you can also paste like in here just like list of names or list of names that you have, and yeah, so I think that's pretty cool. And you can also shuffle the names and stuff like this, and this is also a new system that we have. You can do bulk sales, basically anything that you can think of. There's someone has requested this, so it's a bit, I don't know, messy, but there's like a lot of tools basically for your stable here. Now, I know that maybe this is maybe not that new anymore. It was new last time, and it's kind of the reason why we made the video, because it was confusing for people. But let's go through the training system. Again, like I said last time in the video, if it's your first playthrough, or even if you just want a casual playthrough, I usually play with like automatic training. But if you want to really control how the horse develops, and also with the development, you can change what distance it runs it. Like if you do sprints, it's gonna become quicker in sprints, and if you do well, actually it's inside of this, so if you do pacing, it's gonna become like a more longer distance, and sprints it's gonna become like slower distance. So there are a couple of like pre-made ones that you can also use. You can also import now from the Steam Workshop. There's like people have made different schedules. You can import them from here. I have kind of like a crazy testing amount, but basically how this works is you first create a program, and this is kind of like the weekly program, and then you have a schedule where you put like 52 of the weekly programs. So you can see the sprint specialist. So maybe for week 1 we want to do sprint specialist, maybe for week 2 swimming, recovery, etc. And then just let's fill the rest, and let's call it X, and then we can save it. And now when we save it, we can see, okay, here's this X program, and here is how it's gonna, like the expected effects of the program. This is kind of a bad program because the condition is kind of heavy hitting, and these are not that good. But you know, because you can kind of make programs that are, I would say, almost the same, but where the condition hits are not that extreme. But then if you want to put a horse on it, again, you can just right click and set the schedule to X, and now it's on the X schedule. If we go and look at the horse and press the the training tab, you can see it's now, let's move one day. Yeah, so you can see now it's on the weighted because it's Friday, week 9. And if we go to training and look at week 9, so it's the power training. If we go and look at Friday, it's weighted. So you can kind of see how the system works. You kind of create these weekly programs that you build a yearly program of, and then you always put the horse on the yearly program. But yeah, as I said, if you just want to automate training, you can just go to automation, and it's the first one. So this. Now, when you automate training, you're not gonna see the horse, like even if you go to training, you're just gonna see the old program. You're not actually gonna see the CPU train it because it uses like a completely different system. So don't be afraid of that. It's just how it's working. Now another thing that's kind of tied to this is nutrition and care. And nutrition and care, basically they affect how well the training program works. Like it gives kind of boosts, and we can make like custom feed programs or use one we already have. We can turn them on and off. Now on doesn't mean that your horse is actually using it. We can also add like a default. If you get a new horse, always start using that. But just toggling on and off here doesn't do them. But let's toggle the elite care maybe, and for the care packages. And then again, if you want to put a horse on like a care or nutrition system, then again you like right click and can put it on there. And obviously you can do this in bulk also, so you can put them all on, say, custom care. One thing about nutrition is like if you put them on the cheapest, so like straw and stuff, they will get straw mites, so they will get sick. So that's the only thing that I wouldn't recommend, but otherwise you can be pretty free with like stuff like this. So it's just gonna then boost the effects. Now the next thing is trials, and trials actually got quite a big update since the last time. So the UI is obviously new, but we have split it up. First of all, it has like its own part now in the sidebar, but you can also see we have split up here it also in trial and the history. So, and the trial is changed in a way where you can also actually watch them now. So we could watch this trial. I'm not gonna do it now, but we can watch it if we want. And we can also sim all distances. It has a small condition hit, but you're basically gonna start knowing, okay, like how quick is this horse and what distance. And this is especially important because we added hardcore mode. And in hardcore mode, you're not gonna see any stats. So there is in-game rules, it's the first one, but if we turn it on, you can turn it on and off in the game. Let's sim just one day. And you can see we don't see any stars, we don't see any stats, we only see like condition stats, but we don't see like any like how quick is this horse. And then we start seeing like, oh, there's more like time stuff. So now you have like reference times, best time. So I know some people like playing this way because it's more, in a way it's more realistic. You don't really know if a horse is good or bad. You know, you don't know that the speed is 67 or, you know, whatever. You only know that, okay, it ran this time at this distance. I think it's a lot harder to play this way, but it can be a lot more rewarding. It depends on like how casual you wanna play, but like, because the thing with the stars turned on and stuff like this is that the game becomes like a lot easier, because you can kind of check like, oh, this has maybe 4 or 5 stars, I'm only gonna buy like over that star level, and I will probably have better success than if I buy a 3-star horse. Now stars is, I'm gonna go through stars and rating system also, but they can be a bit misleading sometimes. And one, I would still say like for the horses, the speed is the most important step. It has been a bit more balanced now, so we do also have like for other, like the other stats do matter now a bit more than they used to, but speed is still like the king. I still think that's the most logical thing in a way, because, you know, obviously like your horse needs to be fast if you want to win. There's no way around that. But yeah, it's a bit more balanced now with the new race engine. So this is races where you register your horse for races. There's a couple of ways you can do this, but one is the quick register page. But this is kind of like, there's not a lot of information, so it's more of like a visual way. But you can also go to the registration that I think most people use, where you can click like horse, and then you can kind of see like what's the different races that are available. I also noticed that this leaks the information a bit, because We shouldn't actually know what distance this horse likes. This is tied to knowledge now, but we still have a couple of places that seems to leak this, because there's multiple places in the game. But anyways, you can kind of like register the horse for different races here, and you can kind of see stats about the races. This will also kind of tell you, like, I think one of the most important is probably the average rating to look for. Obviously, like, you want to have the preferred races, but you also want to look like at the rating. Yeah, it doesn't have that many alternatives, but let's just pick one. We can do for this a G3 race, because it's pretty good. This actually has pretty decent rating, so it's maybe a horse that we could grade. It could even go to a G2, and actually we could maybe go, because well, actually, yeah, it's a while to that, so let's just go to that one. And let's see, the third one has a rating of 105, so this might be a pretty good one. But yeah, it's a listed race. We could try to bump it G3 also. Let's try that. It's maybe a bit above its grade. We can also go into the race and kind of see, like, what horses are in the race. There's two actual pretty good ones, so I would probably... Okay, we can do it now, but probably, like, if I would play, I would probably not register it for this race, because it's not gonna win this most likely. If we go to this horse, this looks pretty good. So, but yeah, let's for now, this is just more of like a demo. But yeah, if we go then to the next event, let's go to next race, and then we can skip kind of to our with skip my. We can also see, like, in this, if there's a star, it's gonna have like a horse. If we press this, it's gonna sim everything between, and now it's skipped, and then you can see our horse here. Now we can also take the reins ourselves. We don't really know a lot about this horse, so we don't know, like, if we go to the horse, double click, you can kind of see there's different styles now. So obviously it has like a race distance preference, and this is really actually important, that you try not to go over or under the race preference distance. Let's start scouting this so that we get some knowledge up, and with knowledge then we will unlock more of this. So the weather preference, track preference, running style. I think running style is the most important to know, because it's really gonna, if you run against the running style, it's gonna punish you quite a lot. But let's go to the race anyways and take the reins kind of like blindly. Even if we don't know the running style. I didn't check, but I think the stars or rating we were not really. And let me quickly just turn off the audio. I'm not sure how loud it's gonna be. So yeah, the race is kind of new also. We have this new, when the race starts, just press D. Yeah, we have this new kind of like your target and your actual speed. And then we have two new elements also on the screen. So we have this kind of overview, like large zoomed out. And we also have kind of like this legend on where they are in the race. Your horse also has kind of like this green outline, so it's a bit easier to find. There's also different, like, if you bet on the horse and stuff like this. I'm not sure what position we should be running now, so I'm kind of like just in the middle pack. I don't think we're not doing that well, because we're kind of like at our limit, and we're really slow in a way. Let's try to push to the front if this helps us. Let's see if we're a front runner, maybe. I don't know. We might be a front runner, but it's kind of hard to tell. This is why it's kind of like important that you know this and kind of scout the horse before it, because otherwise you're kind of guesstimating. I think we're a front runner or stalker based on just the numbers now, but I am kind of guessing. So let's see. and we're not actually we're running kind of slow now. Overall, like 70% is usually kind of like the slowest that you want to go. But yeah, and I mean the delta is pretty good, and the delta is also new, so this tells you if you're like your time now, is it faster than the average time in this distance and this grade in a way. Yeah, so I messed up. So the stamina is now 26, and yeah, I didn't pay attention, so we're pretty much like lost. We have lost this race. But let's just, yeah, we're not gonna win this. But yeah, as you can see, well, maybe we're not gonna get last, but let's see. But yeah, the minimum that it keeps you at is 40. So I think this actually, maybe let's see. Yeah, so I mean a minute almost, or half a minute. Now then after the races, this is also new. I love this graph because you can kind of see like how our race went, and also like how did the winner's race go. So he started actually pretty slow, but if we check like the class, yeah, we were really underrating. So this is like new also, where you can kind of see like there's kind of like an analysis of how did this horse fit, and you know how overall did it work. So, and it actually said, yeah, we're a front runner probably, and run as a front runner. So you can kind of get like clues from this also. The traffic was, well, there was a lot of swing because we basically went from first to the last position. Jockey skill, we actually had pretty bad jockey skill, only 12. Field average was 55. Yeah, we didn't have the best chemistry either, or like it's a new partnership. We didn't know the horse that well. So the surface was okay, but prefers dirt. So yeah, there's kind you can get like information from these reports about the horse and how it runs. And yeah, then you can see like for each horse like gets a line, and you can see how they paced for the different splits in the game. And you can also see like split times here, odds. Yeah, we actually had really bad odds also, and then we can see how our rating changed, and overall our rating and the average weighted rating. Now I'm next gonna talk about rating, how it works, the average weighted rating, kind of stars also, how they work, and overall how everything works regarding that. So if I just go to the settings, I think it's the easiest to explain from here. But how the rating system works, and I think this works actually pretty well currently. I know some people are maybe a bit against it, but I think this is kind of the best we can do maybe in a game. Yeah, sure, it can maybe get small adjustments, but overall I think it works pretty well. Like it brings to top the good horses and leaves to the bottom the bad horses. And it's kind of heavy on the time, so the speed of the race and the pacing of the race. And I also think that's kind of realistic, because it's kind of like a speed figure where you kind of have like this base rating, and then you have a time weight, and the time weight is kind of like the heavy hitter. So a lot of people they kind of get it, but then they kind of get stuck at some points. And the usually it's because, like, say if I have a horse, so I have this horse with 114 rating. Now that's actually pretty good already. If we go to standings and look, like the top is 146 currently, and the top, let's say, let's actually sort this. Yeah, the top is 152, but if we go even to 114, we're like in the top 50 maybe. I don't know, maybe not top 70 maybe. So it's actually pretty good, like ratings wise. Well, actually that doesn't tell the top. It just tells but about there. And if I go to the horse, Now, if I would register this horse, it has 114 now, and the rating, this is the average weighted rating. So how the rating works is for each race you get a rating. So it works with this system. So you get a base rating, time weighted rating. So say every horse gets 45. Then you get, it was the fastest race ever. You get 50 points more. Now you're at 95 rating for the race. Maybe you won, so now you get 35. So now you're at 130 rating. Well, let's say if it was a G1 race, now you're at 150 rating because it's 20 plus. And then for the calculation of the average, it's the last 5 races, and they have then a decay. So let's say I won that race, the 150 point race, then I would have it here. So you can kind of see like it's the most recent, has the most weight on the points, and it's basically how the system works. So it's kind of like a weighted rating of the past 5 ratings that becomes your average rating. And you can also see the peak the horse ever had. But then you need this average rating to get into races, so, or certain races. So there's like a race participant threshold. So for a G1 race it's 115, G2 110, G3 105, and listed is 100. And you can kind of see also that this kind of goes up. So if you can participate in a race like this, you should, but you shouldn't really try to go down that much because it's kind of dangerous. And I think this is why most people have some problems, is that, say this 114 point average rating point horse, if I now go to a race that say this 74 average rating, I can do it just for demonstration. I'm not sure if I'm gonna get there, but if I would run it here, the most probable situation is that this horse would run with the pack, and it will run extremely slow. Well, first of all, it's an allowance race, so it's one of the lowest rated races in the, you don't get like any extra points. But the other thing is that these horses can't keep up. So if I would then try to just gun it, I'm gonna run out of stamina, so I can't do that. But then the average pace of the field is gonna be really slow, so my horse is also gonna run slow, and that's gonna damage my rating. So this is why you shouldn't really put like a crazy good horse into a field that's not good. You should instead go with this horse, and you should try to find like maybe a race like G2. Maybe this one. Also, because the G2, if you win, you get more points from that than say a G3 or listed. It's kind of like this order that open, allowance, and stakes, they are like the lower tier, then listed, then G3, then G2, then G1. And if you can find a stakes race, they usually have, because the prize money is bigger, so they usually have like bigger competition, and those horses then will push the pace forward, so it's more like beneficial for you also. And if you win, let's say I would win this G2 race, we can actually register for it. It's in 1 week. If I win this, we're now not graded, so we don't have any grade now. You can also see it here. But if I win this, I will become graded. So then this would, because it was a G2 race, it will become a G2 horse. And that basically means, was this no, this was not, but this is the G2 race, and we're only 2 here. So this is kind of the problem with the normal word size that I talked about. But if I just, I can just sim it, and we won. Now you can also see that our rating points was 127 in this, so that also meant that our average went up, and now we're over 150, and so now we can join a G1 race. And G1 race is the best race, so there's the biggest money, you know, it's the Kentucky Derby is a G1 race. But if I go to this now, you can also see that now we're a G2. And this also means that now we can always go to a G2 race with this, even if our rating would go down. Yeah, we can go, but you can also see now we can also go to G1 races because our rating is over the limit. So let's actually pick one, and yeah, it has like incredibly long distance it seems, but yeah, you can see like 8 million per prize. So let's go to that, and let's see if we can sim to it. I don't think this is the. Yeah, there's only a G3. Well, there's a G3 race, so let's see. You can just sim it, but actually, hoping that wasn't not the. Yeah, it wasn't, because one important thing is also condition. So when you race, you should like try to have it at 100%, because if you don't, then it's gonna get like penalties, the horse, and it's not gonna run its best. So it's really important to have it at 100. But yeah, so let's see. Okay, so today is the race. So let's go to the race. Obviously, I'm just skipping stuff now, but just so that we can quickly see this. But yeah, so this is a G1 race now, and let's see. The rating is not the best if I compare it to others. I think this Regal is probably gonna win, or because rating usually means that they have performed like really well. Like if we look at this, well, it only has 2 races, so it's not that incredible. But let's see, this has 3 races, so it's pretty good, and it has one. Has it one? Yeah, it has one. No, wait, it's the past results I need to look at. So you can see kind of like it has extreme ratings because it's probably like extremely fast. The horse, like 169, it's like crazy. So it's pretty extreme. We can even see, yeah, the speed is pretty good, but nothing crazy. So it is interesting, but yeah, I'm wondering why it's like that. It's a bit weird, but yeah. So we can you can also view or sim races, but let's view this one. So you don't always need to take the reins, and I myself, I don't really like that much taking the reins. I like more like viewing the races like this. I usually sim races if it's smaller races, but then if it's something big, you know, it's pretty cool to watch them. We are working on some new also like graphics and stands. We haven't been working on those for quite a while now, but let's hope that we get them. This was actually today also added, where you can kind of see like the split. You can, by the way, also zoom in and out, and if you hover over horses, you can also see stuff. You can also hover over different panels to see like a bit more stuff. But this is a very long race, so let's put the speed up a bit, and yeah, we're in okay position, I think. Yeah, let's go even faster a bit. No, it's not even yet, but this is the last. So let's see. So our stamina is pretty good. It's 9. Okay, 9% is not the best, but there's only 4%. So where are we? We're a bit blocked, I think. Yeah, we get blocked, I think. Yeah, we were blocked, I think, here. So that was bad luck. I think the horse was pretty good, actually. Horse was pretty good, but we got blocked in the traffic. We're pretty close. Let's say Regal wasn't that good. I don't remember the other horse. Was it? Yeah, I don't remember the other horse, but Hickory won the race. What if we would want to buy Hickory? We can go to trade. Oh, there's actually multiple ways. We can go back even to this and right click it, do a quick offer from here, or a universal trade. Now the universal trade system is pretty cool. Like you can basically trade anything against anything. So we could even trade. Let's see, what was it? Yeah, we can add a couple of horses and see if they're gonna accept, and if we get Hickory for that, maybe throw a bit of cash on top of that, and then we submit it. So let's see if we can do like a multi-horse trade. Yeah, and now we got Hickory. So now we own Hickory, but we traded 2 of our own horses. But this is a pretty cool horse to have. It's a colt still, so I don't think we can breed it. Let's go to the breeding barn next, and we can actually breed with it. The breeding page is kind of like this, kind of the visual breeding. I think most people used to use this. I still use this, I think, most of the time, because you can kind of sort stuff a bit easier. But I actually think a lot of people are using this kind of visual breeding. These visuals they need some work. They're kind of floaty, but a lot of people use this because you can kind of see the coat colors. Like there is a lot of coat colors in the game. You can also see the coat colors in the coat index. We can generate 1,000, so you can kind of see them. Yeah, it generates like 1,000, and you can also then see like breeding paths to them. Like, how do I get the horses to that specific pattern? Yeah, there is a lot in this system. This is also new, so it kind of shows you the, where would it land. We don't have, there's also, if we would play a bit longer, you would also see other offspring here, like where did they land in a way. But yeah, we can now breed with Hickory, since we just bought it. We can breed with, these are CPU mares that they have leased, so we can lease like a mare. Leasing is more expensive than if you would have, say, a mare and you would use a standing stud. But yeah, we can do it now, but you can see it's a bit more expensive. You can also like do different names, and one thing I think is pretty cool is the naming system, where it kind of mixes and matches stuff sometimes. So like it took Hick and sculpture, so it creates like Hikisha, like pretty cool combos. Let's make Hikisha, and yeah, I think that's overall I think it's a cool system, and sometimes you get really funny combos. But let's just time click a bit because I just wanna basically get a bunch of foals once they get the year end, so that you can also see that. Now, these were the mares. As I said, like there's more stallions, so if you own the mares, you have like more options. But you can also do breeding contracts, and if you do a breeding contract, you will get like, there's different types. So there's mare and stallion types. So let's say Walker and Thompson. If I buy this breeding contract, I will get access to their mares that the stable has for 10 years at a discounted price. So this is actually pretty valuable. So I'm just gonna purchase it. But now you can see like all the mares are here that we can choose from. So you can also trade these contracts, and you can see like the value of it. Yeah, but there's something about the purchase price, I think that's bit buggy, because the value, like, it seems pretty low, and as I expected it's much higher. But yeah, you can also see the current contracts. That's actually why we had so many mares, because we have a lot of you can see the mares that are from the contracts. And so this is from that we currently have contracted. So we did the breeding with Hickory, and now we can see like the current foals incoming, and here you can see also the upcoming foals, all upcoming foals, not only contracted, and bred horses if we would have anything, and then the coat index as I already showed. Now let's go to the staff page, and the staff overview shows you kind of like staffing by role. You can also auto hire quickly missing. You can see kind of how you compare to the industry, and staff counts and everything. And here you can also see how the workload capacity works. So basically your manager, or you in this case, you have a leadership skill. Now for the player, it's not only the leadership skill, it's also kind of like sociability and stuff like this, but leadership is the main skill, and it affects how many people you can manage. So if you have the best leadership skill, you can each person in your team can manage 5 horses. Now if you have an assistant manager that has the top leadership and a head trainer that has the top leadership, then the total that your one employee, say a jockey, can handle is 10 horses. So it's a good thing to get like a good assistant manager who's really good at leadership, and also a head trainer that's really good at leadership, because that then means that like one of your jockeys or one of your trainers can do the job of like 10 people. So it kind of saves you money also. If you don't do it, like if you kind of cheap out on them, then you just need to hire more like jockeys and more trainers. So maybe if you have 10 horses, you need five jockeys, like if you're really in this situation, because we don't really have a capacity. But yeah, we can now just auto hire missing, and it automatically hires. You can also, if you go to Finder, this is maybe what I recommend more, is if you right click, you can either quick hire people, or then you can go and negotiate a deal with them. Negotiate is a bit maybe more flexible, because you can also add, or more like pay them, say, in equity. You don't necessarily need to give them like a lot of money. And maybe in the early game you don't really have that much money, so it's a bit easier to like negotiate with them. But let's do like a mid offer, and yeah, then they can either accept or counter, and then you can sign the contract. And he chooses win assigned percentage, so if the horse wins when he's assigned, then he would get 2.8% from the winnings. Now when you negotiate, you can negotiate these same terms, and when you're trying to become a manager or jockey, you can also negotiate equity deals or a win percentage when the horse wins. Now you can also train staff, so you don't necessarily need to start with the best, but the staff also have like a hidden maximum ability. So usually if you hire someone that's, or like you kind of see the potential, so this person would probably not become the greatest. They are kind of like lacking in potential. Yeah, but that's the main thing. And in staff you can also find open positions, and this is where then you can search for a job. So say you want to be a jockey, this table we can then apply, and they're gonna ask you like different questions. Now your stats are also gonna matter, like kind of what answers you can give, and like how much you can get basically from the deal. And the more you can try to push, but the more you push, the more also there's like a hidden system where you don't see them, but they kind of like evaluate you, and they there's also like different, like depending on your negotiation skill, you can like, we're very low, so we can only do one counter basically, but then if you have more, you can do more of them. And yeah, then we got the contract for this, and now we're also a jockey at Green Meadows, and so you can kind of see how you can also play, like, and multiple people actually play where they kind of stay as a jockey even if they start their own stable. But there's a small risk, like when you are a jockey and or manager, and if you start your own stable, you might also get fired, because the NPC might not like it when you're kind of starting to compete with them. And at the start of each year, you're also, when you're kind of like employed, you're gonna get like a performance review, and you might also get like headhunted. So if you do really well, you can also other stables might like want to hire you basically. And for managers, that's basically the company valuation, so value of the stable. And for jockeys, obviously like winning races. Now the market is then where you can buy and sell horses, or maybe more like buy and syndicate horses. You can quick buy them from this view, so it's basically just double clicking. You can see upcoming auctions. You can register your horses for auctions, so in that way you can sell them. You can see the yellow pages, so here you can see all horses that are put up for sale, but you can buy basically any horse in the game. So even if this horse say is not for sale now, like it's not for sale, but you can still offer on it. just make like a quick offer or open the trade system that we already showed a bit. But yeah, so I think that's really cool about the game, that you can basically buy anything that you see. Obviously the computer might want more money if they're not selling the horse, but yeah. You can also do syndicates. You can also buy into syndicates, but yeah, you can create syndicate horses here. I won't go into it now, what it means and stuff like this, but you can Google and there's basically you sell shares of a horse. And if you want to put your horse for sale, you can put it from there to the auction. You can also like list it quickly for an auction here. And then you can also just put the horse on market, and then the NPCs will start like bidding on the horse or offering on the horse on the trade screen. Now next is the medical area, and this is a new page. Also we kind of revamped the whole area. There is it's more like risk focused now, and it kind of tells you what the problems are, and then it also kind of shows you more. We used to show this point thing, but it was very confusing, so now we just show like the average times at the current, like when you have like horses, like we have one veterinary. You can see the history, the current patients. If you want to quarantine them, you can also automate quarantines. I usually do that because then they like immediately get quarantined, but yeah, it's somewhere here. Yeah, so it's this one. Yeah, but it will basically tell you like the biggest risk areas and what's kind of like the main thing in that, and kind of give you useful information. Now, scouting helps you find like more about the horse, so it will unlock different, like this one we have already unlocked it, so the distance preference, you can see the knowledge here, and it will also make the range of the skills that you know smaller, so it's very useful in that way. And usually what I kind of recommend is that you turn on automatic scouting. So it's here, but yeah, we need actually actually I have it, so let's sim one day. But if I go to automation, let's put on automatic scouting. And how this works is once you have it on, you basically create like a template. So I have a couple of here, say a yearling, and if I load that template, let's put the age to, is smaller than say 2 years. Now it's showing 697 horses, and then you can choose, okay, when it's 80%, send it then, and then send the scout report when it's complete. I don't actually need this now, so let's just create it. And what this is gonna do, it's gonna automatically start scouting for your range. Now it's basically just gonna start scouting. If we go and check, you can see like it's gonna start scouting for the horses. Yeah, it works with the automation setting. Let's go to automation, check here a bit. They're kind of like explained already. A couple of maybe things to note about this is that, or like dangerous stuff, is obviously like automatic horse selling is pretty dangerous, because then you might lose like your best horse. Another one is automatic funding, and this you shouldn't probably use, because this can then do like quite drastic things. It can also sell your horses, sell stuff for you, so I would not use this as a player. It's more for the NPC, but the other ones are pretty useful. Some of these are like at the beginning of the game, it doesn't matter that much, but then when you start getting to like the later stage of the game, some stuff becomes like annoying. So say the sponsor acceptance or tower event acceptance, once you get like the 50th of those, you start getting annoyed at them. So that's why we have added like a lot of toggles for this, also kind of similar to the settings. Same with the facility stuff. Say you have like 20 facilities, it becomes really annoying to go through them, so you can kind of like automate stuff like that. The next is the company, and this is basically like the company or stable page. There is like, you go through, I would say, the tabs, but you can kind of see like different stuff about the stables. Every stable has a page like this. but if it's your stable, you have a bit more options here, like crime stuff, a bit of options, like you can do full prefix and suffix naming, transfers, you can merge even stables, so we can merge this stable with, oh, this is pretty big, but we can merge it with this. So now we have merged the stables, and yeah, we don't have the other stable anymore because we combined them. You should say before you use this, because we have tested it and fixed a lot of bugs, but it's quite like a big thing data wise to do in the game, so there might always be some kind of bug. So yeah, save the game before you do that. Then we have facilities, and this is basically where you can buy and sell facilities. They have different effects. You can also go through them. They're kind of in a way explain like what they do. Not all of them have effects yet, but we try to write if they don't have an effect. That's basically facilities, but they can help you with training and stuff like this. Now, Racecourses, so you can also own Racecourses in the game, and the stable is the one that owns it. So let's try to buy a cheap one. You can also use the universal trade, but these are at the shelter, so you can immediately buy them. Let's sim a day to get to the racecourse. And now you can see the racecourse, and you can also do different stuff with the race course. So you can change like how the budget works and kind of balance the budget, try to get this to the maximum. You can also see the current balance of the race course. How the accounts work is that you basically have like the stable account, and then you have a race course account, and they're separate, and you can see all the events in the race course account. And then if you're negative in the race course account, it's going to do a sweep from your stable account to cover it, so then it becomes 0 at, I think it's at the end of the month, but it kind of depends on your stable also. And you can also then do the reverse, also you can have like a monthly dividend. So I usually put this really high, because then it means that it sweeps like any profit, it sweeps to your stable account. Let's just open financials as income, and then if we just sim, I think it's at the end of the week, we can kind of see what happens. So if we go to the race course and finances, it's now 15k. So it moved out the 12 million to the dividend as a dividend payout, basically zeroed the account, and then it moved it to the stable. So you can kind of see how this works. But now if it would have been negative, then our stable would have moved money there. And you can then do like different stuff with this. So well, first of all, if you have many, you can copy and paste stuff. So it's quite easy to then replicate like a good budget. You can also like expand the stadium. You can create races. You can create recurring races, or you can kind of create them here, but then you can control them here. So let's just do like a simple save as recurring. We can do maybe daily just for fun. And now if you look at upcoming races, you can see there's like a daily G1 race. I don't think this is gonna get any interest because it's quite low prize money. And yeah, you can edit it, delete it, look at upcoming, etc. You can also see the sponsors. Some sponsors want like naming rights, so they will either name the grounds or the upcoming races. Auction houses pretty much work the exact same way. There are some small differences, but I want for now, yeah, I don't know if I can even, well, let's cheat a bit money. So by the way, the cheat engine, if you go to settings, there's developer tools, there's pretty good stuff here also, but horse builder is pretty popular. I can show that quickly. And then developer tools, and then you have the enable cheat console. Now if you then press Control Shift and C, it's gonna open the cheat console. And if you press help, then you can get like different commands. So like say help search, or help money is maybe the easiest. So then we can just do like player money and add some money, and then we have like a lot of money. So let's move that then to the stable. And now when we have moved it to the stable, we can then do like a trade. Let's just bombard them to get it. Let's see if we get the trade. Yeah, we got it. Okay, so here is I think I have the trade emails for this off, but yeah, you can kind of see it's a bit the same but also a bit different. So obviously you have upcoming auctions, you have commission based income, so it works a bit different than the race stuff. This got a bit nerfed recently. I haven't played a bit that much around with them since that, but I need to do a proper, like, more playthrough to actually see their balance now. I still think they're pretty. They can be pretty OP, but overall, yeah, they're pretty fun to play with, and it's pretty fun, like, to try to own every race course and every auction in the game, like as a goal. I did that one playthrough, but yeah, it's the same structure is here, but it's a bit different. Some of these systems and levers are a bit different, let's say it like this. Now then we have the finance page that we kind of went through a bit, but here you can see an overview of your finances for, let's say, 30 days, 180 days, 365 days. If we would have like a longer period played, we would also see that. You can also see like income only side. You can start filtering out and in stuff. Income graphs, the same thing. If you want to kind of see like graphs of it instead. Same with assets. Here we can see all of the stable's assets, liabilities. This also changed. This apply for loan is new, where it is now a negotiation with the bank president. You can actually also become the bank president if you are rich enough. People will vote you in there, and then you can choose like if you want it or not. We might actually get the offer as we cheated the money. You can see active sponsors, all share trades, tax stuff. So one thing about the game is also that there's crime. So the staff can do crime against you, and you can do crime against your employer and the government. But one thing that you want to kind of get pretty quickly is like a tax firm for your stable, because they will also they can find fraud for you. So where the employees will try to like come up with stuff that they can, you will actually see it here. Like if an employee tries to steal, it will be kind of like weird stuff in the economics that you can then see. So yeah, that will help with catching them. And then the final one is subscriptions. So there are different subscriptions in the game that you can get, like the weather service, and this will basically make it where you get more precise weather information. Same with like you can go through this they're quite good, well described on what they do, and then you can activate or deactivate them. Then we have a shares overview panel, and I would say this is more for like late game, but you can kind of see and control your shares better and kind of get an overview of all of your shares. This is not meant to be like a stock market per se. I think some people were a bit maybe confused about that. It's more of like basically where you can see better your shares and your economic information, because there wasn't really a way or a great way to see that. You also do have some equity controls, so you can go public and basically get outside money for the stable. You can do dividends, stock splits, and reverse splits. So it's pretty simple stuff. Now again, this is not like meant to be like a stock market simulator or anything like that. It's more so that you can like control what you own basically and see a bit easier, like how is my money moving, am I moving up or down in the world. This is the main reason for this. Now next we have the map page, and on the map page you can see all cities in the game. You can also, we have turned it where it's only with entities for now, but you can turn it like see basically everything if you want. But let's turn only with entities for now. You can also see kind of indicators if there's something with you in their cities. We can also just click a city, travel, or view details. Now, if you go to a city, then you can see what the properties are. And the properties are important in a way where once you get like a family, you can choose where they want to live and kind of move them there. So let's just buy this one. And if you don't have one, you're going to basically be homeless. And like why it's important, because the nationality of your offspring will then be like where you will get like this prompt asking like where do you want them to live. But if you have then a home somewhere, they can become that nationality basically. So if you go to your person and the family and household, you can kind of see here where we can change the home. And then if we would have like a wife or anything like this, we could move them in here with us living. This is more of like a role-playing option, but it does affect like stuff like how close you are. So because you're gonna move there, so if we would move to some kind of like I don't know, weird part, a long part of the world, we would have to travel like a lot. So it's beneficial in that way also. You can also change here how the horses travel. If you change it from here, it will be become like the default option. So then whenever you get a new horse in or out, or basically in, it's gonna pick this automatically, so you don't have to change them all the time. The same for the staff. And from here you can also change like all the staff's options, but you can obviously still do the range changing, so it's a bit faster that way. Now then we have the person page, and each person in the game has this page, but you can quickly come from this page to your own. But if we go to like a random staffer, they're gonna have also a page. But let's go to our own, and we have a bit more options also. So we have obviously like a description, the traits we have, our socials, skills, where we are in the world, and obviously our avatar. And then we also have some work information. It's looking pretty weird because we have done like weird stuff, but yeah, you can also update like your own salary when you're working for yourself. We can do training from here. Socials, we can see like how is the socials, and if we want to interact with someone, we can just go to their profile and press interact, and then you can see like different options that we can do. We relaxed this system a bit since last time, so you can basically do them much quicker now. Interactions, it was a bit locked down before and it made it quite slow, so now they're pretty fast. On your own page, you can also see your personal finances, so you also have an account, like the stable has an account, the auction has an account, you also have an account. Basically every player or NPC in the game has an account, or any entity. So you can see income, you can say that we cheated and stuff like this. But yeah, there's options, and here's quite a lot. So you can change name, stuff, appearance. So if we don't like how we look, we can change it. We can change our living standards. Now these are more for like role playing. The only thing that is kind of good is the tax accountant and the law firm, and actual security is also because then you kind of protect against like NPCs if they try to do something. It happens quite rarely, but yeah. Here you can also start new stables and even leave this world if you have heir. Yeah, you can change your name if you have family. If you just spawn in like if we spawn a child, maybe 7 years old, then we see okay, now we get a kid. But these also, he has some options. We can change their names also and their appearance. When they're under, I think 15 or 16 or maybe even 18, they just have this silhouette because it would be too much to make like art for everything, I think. So for now at least we do this in this way. Next is the standings page. This is pretty simple. There's like not that much. It's basically just tables with ranked information. So you can go through, like, there's different times for jockeys, managers, auction houses. These are pretty useful, especially because you can see like the profitability. So if you want to buy something, this is a pretty good page to go through. If you want to buy a really good horse, this is a really good page to go through, and stuff like this. And we also have championships. It's kind of a similar page, but more for the actual championships. So at the end of the year, you get like awards, and the top ranked, like, there's a lot of different awards. One thing about the person is you can also see the race history they had, and the kind of like awards they have gotten. Yeah. Now let me also show like how the auction works. So this is a bit new, but if I go to an auction, I first select, okay, I wanna look at these horses. And then if I participate, we have this new UI and also new art. I think the art looks really good in this, and the scale is also a lot better than what it used to be. And then we can skip the auction if we want. Okay, so I'll show this page quickly, and this is a bit about the new preferences. So you have the race distance preference, obviously, where it kind of likes to run. Then you have what kind of turf it prefers, so this, or ground, so this prefers dirt. And you can also then see the running style at the side. But yeah, so this is a new thing. But yeah, that has been Horse Racing Manager so far. We're still working on the game, but I think we're getting closer and closer to the final product we want the first game actually to be. We do have plans for like the next iterations also. We want to make the game 3D at some point, but I think that's going to be Horse Racing Manager 2 if we ever make that. But I think like the systems are kind of starting to come together a bit more, and the game still needs some balancing, and we're gonna do that at the end, because there's if we do it now and we add something, it's gonna go off balance like immediately. So that's why we haven't really done it. Maybe some people have wondered like when we're gonna do it, but we are gonna do it at the end. If we could show like a roadmap picture now, then you can kind of see like where we are in this journey, and yeah, I still think we have some stuff to do, but it's getting more and more kind of like polished and more done in a way, and it's actually, I think, pretty enjoyable to play already. And I know a lot of people are playing the game quite a lot. But try the game. If you find bugs, also report them. Just press this button and it's gonna bring you to the where you can report them. We have built our own software for this because we didn't really think there was anything for it. You can also find it here, or even scan the QR code while you're playing. And we're gonna replace this link with this video. So, but yeah, also if you have any improvements, we always love to hear them. Join the Discord. It's really awesome people there, and you can talk with us freely and suggest things. So have a nice summer, everyone.